I want you to watch Glenn Beck's very considered take on the critics of Trump's war and Israel's war against Iran. He hears them, reflects on the fact that he really doesn't know how this could end. No one does. But then again, what would have happened if we'd have done nothing? Have a watch of what Glenn says in this response to all those who are saying, parts of the conservative right, small part, but exists there, saying, oh, this isn't a good idea, it's Iraq 2.0. Watch Glenn's podcast thoughts here, and then I'll give you some further thoughts on the other side. By the way, if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button. Please like our videos, comment, hype our videos. All these things really help to grow the channel and get the word out. Thank you so much.
Not once have I said this war is good. Not once have I said this war is bad. I've said this could potentially be very good. This potentially could be unbelievably bad. I don't know how this is going to turn out, nor does anyone else. What I do know is this: we are now in it, and now we must fight and finish it. There's no way out. You cannot just walk away from this now, because you will teach the bad guys America folds every single time. People don't have a... Do you think terror will get better or worse? We can argue about should we have gone in or whatever. We can argue that after we finish this. We must be united on finishing this. So I'm not trying to justify the war. Then Stay Strong said, yesterday you asked for proof and why he changed. Yeah, because he would have been in the position to know, and he's claiming that our president was duped. And I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. Now, that's my belief. Maybe he was, but I don't see any indication anyone dupes or leads President Trump by the nose. How did we get here? We waited 47 years, and we denied, and we kicked the can. How did we get to the point to where we're almost at economic collapse? We've known this my whole life. FDR said, you can't do these things with these social programs or you will collapse the budget of the United States of America and we will be broke. FDR, the guy who started it, said that. Nobody listened because you wanted it. We all wanted it. We wanted all these things. We wanted it to be true, but it wasn't, and we knew that. I remember Ronald Reagan saying, we've got to deal with this deficit now, or we're going to come to a place where there are no good options on the table. Well, we're there. Why are we here? Because we didn't face the truth, because we didn't want to do the hard thing at the time. The same thing with Iran. We didn't want to do the hard thing. Every president said it. People couldn't stomach it. The same thing now with what you're going to see in the special. We don't have 47 years on this. We'll be lucky to have 5. Hear me. We will be lucky to have 5 before this is here and in position to turn us into the Middle East.
So some really fair and measured thoughts there from Glenn. But the thing that I think all of us has to keep coming back to, and this is the question that Glenn was going back to, was asking, how is this going to end? And of course, the honest answer is, we don't know how this particular war is going to end. We know from a Judaism philosophical point of view how everything will end. It will end with the Messianic era, with world peace. But this particular conflict, we don't know. It could go well, it could go badly. It could spiral in ways nobody can fully predict. And yes, that uncertainty is concerning. For me, the real question is not how this will turn out. The real question is, what is the alternative? People talk as if there's some clean exit, some moral high ground where you just step back, disengage, and everything calms down. History does not work like that. Imagine saying this to Churchill in 1940. Look, this could escalate. This could cost millions of lives. This could devastate the economy. Maybe we shouldn't get too involved. He knew all of that. He knew the risks. He knew it could go horribly wrong. He also knew that there was a precedent of a prior war, World War I, just as Americans have the Iraq War in the back of their mind. But he also understood something deeper. When evil is advancing, inaction is not neutrality. It's surrender. And there are moments in history when you don't choose between good and bad outcomes. You choose between fighting something terrible or allowing something worse. And that's the part people avoid. They say, but what if this leads to something bigger? Okay. And what if doing nothing leads to something even bigger? What if hesitation teaches the very people who threaten you that you won't act? That you'll debate, delay, divide until it's too late? At some point, it comes down to a very basic principle, one that's not even political. It's just human. When someone rises with the intent to destroy you, you don't wait to find out how it ends. You stop them. The alternative is so much worse. And I think that's what people are struggling with. They want certainty. They want a clear, safe, morally uncomplicated path. But sometimes there isn't one. Sometimes the world puts you in a position where every option carries risk, and the only real mistake is pretending you can avoid choosing. So yes, we can debate how we got here, and we can question decisions, timing. All of that matters. But once the threat is there, you can't wish it away. You either face it, or you teach the world that you won't. And history is very clear about what happens to those who make that second choice. Just a moment. Have you ever heard someone say, I've got no problem with Judaism or Jews, it's Israel I've got a problem with? Well, we've just created our most important documentary yet, called Zionism and Judaism, The False Separation. Have a watch of the trailer, and if you want to watch the full thing, just click on the link below in the video description. This one's important. I'm not against Judaism, I'm just against Zionism.
It's not Jewish, it's Zionism.
Judaism and Zionism are completely separate.
You know, Judaism is a faith, Israel is a state.
You can be Jewish without being a Zionist.
Zionism and Judaism is totally diametrically opposed.
I'm sure you've heard this before, from protesters, from politicians, from even well-meaning people trying to navigate the Israel-Palestine debate. But I'm here to tell you that this separation is complete nonsense. It's a comfortable lie. The kind of lie that sounds intelligent but collapses the moment you actually open this book, the Torah, the Bible, and study Judaism on its own terms. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to tackle this myth head on. We'll actually look inside the Torah and see how in the very first book, Genesis, there's no mention of law or religion. It's all centered on the promise of a specific land to a specific nation. We'll trace how Judaism, not modern politics, but Judaism itself, is structured around one obsessive, relentless, undeniable claim: the land of Israel belongs to the Jews. We'll reveal why the building of a nation in the land of Israel is an indispensable part of the project of Judaism. Why Judaism is not a religion, it's the divine project of a nation in a land. We'll discover how the Torah preemptively answered the colonization accusation that wouldn't fully materialize for another 3,000 years. We'll explore why, if the land is so central, Jews had to spend thousands of years in global exile. We'll unpack what Zionism actually means, and how anti-Zionism doesn't just contradict Israeli policy, it contradicts the fundamental architecture of Judaism itself. For some people, this is going to be uncomfortable viewing, but by the end, we'll prove beyond any reasonable doubt that Judaism and Zionism are inseparable. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.